All right. Hello, everybody. We are ready to go. Welcome. It is 10:06 a.m. and it is August 8th, Friday, August 8th. Ten 10:06 p.m. for you, 10:06 a.m. for me. All right, so hello Frank, hello Mona, hello Sophia and Luan and Irene and Johnny and Hung. Hello. Can I tell you the difference between offend, abuse, and insult? Offend and insult are pretty close to each other, but abuse is different or stronger. Okay, so to offend someone is to cause some kind of offense. So there are two words, Aya: offense and defense, right? Defense means to defend yourself, to protect yourself. So that means offense means to attack, right? So if something offends you, it's something that makes you feel attacked or makes you feel insulted, okay? An insult is a comment or statement about someone or something that's not positive. Okay, so an insult is usually why someone is offended. If I insult you, now you are offended. So the word insult can be a noun or a verb. An insult or to insult. Okay? So if I insult you, then you will be offended. Now, if I insult you every day, and I offend you every day, now we can call that abuse. Okay? So abuse is usually something that is either very aggressive and physically or mentally damaging, instantly or over time. So it could be something that's like, if I hit you, that's abuse. Okay? But I don't have to hit you. I could just call you names. That's also abuse. Okay? Usually when we talk about abuse, we talk about some kind of a pattern of behavior, right? Often, I should say. Maybe not usually, but often. So that means that if a person is often acting in a way that's offensive or negative or damaging to someone else, then they are abusing them. They are an abuser. Okay? So they are related. The words are all related, but they're not exactly the same. And hello, Gabrielle. Oh, that's Jack. Hello, Jack. Wow, that's hot. That's no good. Hello, Dollar. I'm fine. How are you? Hello, Tanya. Should we tolerate insults or speak out when we feel uncomfortable, or just ignore them? Sophia, that depends on where you are. That depends on the situation. There are times when you should walk away, and there are times when you should stand up and say something. Okay? It just depends. You definitely shouldn't tolerate abuse, you know? But sometimes it's not worth fighting for. In English, we have a saying. We say, pick your battles, or choose your battles. What that means is, you can't fight every time. You can't fight every single time. You have to figure out which fights are the ones that are worth fighting for. Okay? So, sometimes you just walk away, and sometimes you fight, but it just depends. All right? What does an apocalypse mean? Apocalypse means like the end of the world. Okay? An apocalyptic event means some kind of an event that's going to end the world. You know, nuclear war, or maybe a meteor hits the Earth, or aliens, you know, or whatever, or that would be an apocalypse. It means the end of the world, essentially. If I remember right, let me check something. The word apocalypse comes from the Latin. The Latin apocalypsis and the Greek apocalyptine, meaning to uncover, to discover, or to reveal. So the word apocalypse actually means revelation. Apo means away, and kleptine means to cover. So this means to uncover. So why does it mean that? Because in the Christian view of the end of the world, there's a story where there's a revelation that's part of the end of the world, right? A revealing, okay? That's all I'll say, okay? But it's not really considered a religious word anymore. It started as a religious word. Now the word apocalypse is when you see a zombie movie, or a movie about, you know, the world in 300 years or 1,000 years, and everything's changed and it's bad, and you know, there's disease and destruction and people killing each other and whatever. That's all the apocalypse. Okay? That's what it means. All right? Basically just means the end of the world. What about being desperate? I hear people say he is desperate, and I feel they mean another meaning than the literal one. That depends on the context, Aya. I don't know what to tell you if I don't know the context. I use the word desperate all the time. Desperation is a stinky perfume, I love to say, or stinky cologne. Desperation means you're trying too hard. You know, you seem desperate. You seem like you need this. Not that you want this. You seem like you need it, and not in a good way. Like in a desperate way. So you're willing to do anything or say anything when you're desperate. That's not good. That's not a place of stability. That's not a place of calm. That's not a place of confidence. That's a place of lack of confidence. When you're desperate, you're not confident. You're desperate. Okay? Would I use apocalypse in a sentence? Sure. The meteor that hit the Earth caused an apocalypse. Or the meteor that hit the Earth was the cause of the apocalypse. Yes, I'm on YouTube as well. Yes. Despondency versus desperately. Ooh, that's a hard one. If I remember, it's despondere is the root word of despondency. Oh, no, I'm wrong. It was not. It was... Oh, no. Yes, I am right. Okay, never mind. I am right. Despondere, to give up, to lose heart, to resign. So to be despondent is to give up. I'm despondent. I feel like I've lost. I give up. I have no more fight. Okay? So that's different. That's very different than desperate. Desperate I think when you're desperate, you still usually have some fight in you. When you're despondent, you have no more fight left. Okay? Yeah. It's actually really funny because the original meaning of the word despondence, the original meaning, uh, despondere, it also means to promise in marriage. It means to promise yourself to marriage. Because why? Because you're giving up your soul to the other person, right? So the meaning of despondence is to give up hope, essentially. That's what to be despondent is, means to have no hope anymore. No fight, no hope. But then it also used to mean, not anymore, but it used to mean to give up your soul to someone else. Kind of funny. All right, what else do we have here? Can I retell the fight saying again? What was that? What did I just say? Pick your battles? Choose your battles or pick your battles? A battle, B-A-T-T-L-E, it means a fight. So choose your battles, pick your battles wisely. That's what we say, choose your battles wisely. Yeah, don't be desperate when you're talking to people. I don't want to talk to a desperate person. That's right. Desperation is a stinky perfume. Lamentation. To lament something means to regret and to feel sorry about something. So a lamentation is when you say something that's I feel sorry about this, or I feel bad about this. To lament. Okay? Unsavory just means, savory is a word that, to savor means to taste something carefully and to really enjoy it, right? So if something is savory, it means something that you want to savor, something that tastes so good that you want to eat it and enjoy it. If something is unsavory, it's like distasteful. It doesn't taste good. I don't want to eat this. I do not want to taste this. So your behavior is unsavory, means I don't like this behavior. It's not appropriate. It's not good. I don't like the taste of your behavior. Okay? Question regarding English writing. The one stands at the upper level intermediate. Okay. How can you reach an advanced level of English writing? You have to write a lot more. One. You have to write more. You have to learn how to write many different kinds of writing. Do you know how to write a proper personal letter? Do you know how to write a proper business letter? Do you know how to write a short story? Do you know how to write an outline? Do you know how to write an academic article or journal or paper? Do you know how to write a poem? Do you know how to write a letter to your government or governor or something, right? There are many kinds of writing and you need to work on them in order to be good at them. Okay? Now, the good news is it's never been easier to work on your writing than now. Just ask ChatGPT to help you work on your English writing, your advanced English writing, and tell it that you need to learn how to write in many different ways. Okay? To assail versus its common synonyms. Assail means to attack someone, but that's not a very common word anymore. I mean, it's kind of an advanced word. You'll see it in some old books or some old stories that talk about battles, to be assailed. Let me look at the history of that word. It means to attack violently, to assail someone. It comes from the Latin word ad salire, meaning to leap at. It means like you jump on top of them and attack them. That's what assail means, to jump on top of someone and attack them. Okay? What would be its common synonyms? I think just attack. Now we would just say I was attacked. Okay? Okay, let's see. So used to and would. Both can talk about things that were past habits or repeated actions. But used to is usually talking about a state, a past state. We used to do this, right? While would is usually for something like repeated actions. But that's not a strong rule. People break this rule all the time, okay? So, for example, I used to play basketball every day. Okay, I used to play basketball every day. I used to live in France. I used to be afraid of the dark. Okay, so used to is talking about previously I was, or previously I played basketball every day, or in the past I used to live in France, or in the past I was afraid of the dark. Okay, would is more for repeated things usually, like I would visit my grandma every Sunday, or I would live in France. So if you say, I would live in France, now you're talking about a different meaning. It's changed the meaning. Now you're talking about, would you? Yes, I would. Okay, but in this case, the proper way to say it would be, I used to live in France, not I would live in France, right? So there's the difference between the two, okay? So you could say, let's see. Used to is usually for past states, while generally would can't talk about past states. Okay, a state of something. But would is usually, you need more context when you're talking about would, and it's referring to the past, but used to is usually clearer. So here's what I would say is, it depends on the context, but to be honest with you, many people do use them interchangeably when it's possible to use them interchangeably, which is not always. Like I showed you the one example of would that doesn't work. To say I used to live in France is different than saying I would live in France. I would is talking about the future, not the past. I used to is talking about the past. Okay? I hope I explained that appropriately. Let's see. Can I replace depend on with in light of? Depending on. Yes, depending on or in light of. Yes, those are roughly interchangeable. Okay, in light of just means now that we know this. Okay, depending on is slightly different because in light of just means, oh, look. There's some light on this thing now. Now we've seen the light, and we've seen the light on this thing. That means that we have new information, right? So in light of this new information, we can do this. Depending is more like depending on what happens, right? So there's a possibility of this or a possibility of this, right? So depending on if we go to the park or if we go to the zoo, maybe we have time to stop for dinner. But I wouldn't say in light of whether we go to the dinner or, the zoo. No, I'm sorry, the movie or the zoo, whatever. You get my point. In light of means with this new information, we now know this. Okay? In light of now, of what we now know, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Depending is different. Last time you said ear training has many meanings, but I am not a VIP here, so I was kicked out. So ear training has a few meanings. Ear training can mean listening practice, learning how to listen better. Okay, that's one meaning of ear training. But another meaning of ear training is actually a musical term. Ear training is where I will play a note on the piano and you can't see me. You're not allowed to see the notes, so you can only hear it. Okay, you can hear the note. And then you have to come and play the same note on the piano. So you didn't see it, you could only hear it, but now you have to go find that note and play exactly that note. that teaches your brain to know what notes they are. We call that ear training. Okay? Yes, you can come on stage if you would like to come on stage. Yes, you may. Let's see who's raising their hand. Let's talk to Jack. Jack, are you there? Hello, Jack. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. What about you?
I'm not bad today. I'm not bad. So what can I do for you today?
I honestly have a problem with vocabulary.
Okay.
It would be better if I illustrated by giving you an example. I'm just gonna flip the camera if I can. Just let me try. Can I do that here?
I think so, yes. If you look at the menu, little settings thing at the bottom, there should be a little flip camera button in the settings on the screen. There used to be. I don't know if there still is, but guys, there is still a button, isn't there, to flip the camera?
I don't know. On phone, I don't think I can.
Oh no! Frank, I'm sorry, Jack, come back. I think you hit the wrong button, Jack. Let's try that again.
Well, I don't know how that happened, but...
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, there used to be a button right there on the screen towards the bottom that's like settings, and when you click on settings, then you'll see another menu that'll pop up with a little switch camera button. But I don't know where it is because I very rarely am, I'm always on this side of the camera. I'm never using the other, I'm never an audience member. Oh, there you go, you got it. Yeah. Okay, so what are we talking about?
This is actually from a book. This is the chapter 1 about neuroscience.
Okay.
And here, when I was reading here, for instance, I come across vocabulary that even if I translate and try to look for their synonyms, it's hard to see the difference between its synonyms. For instance, the word that I just asked you, which is despondency, here. But the problem is not about this word or other words. The problem is general. It's pretty broad. Like, how can I see the difference between this word and that, and how to know whether this is formal, or can I use this word while I'm talking to someone? Would that sound too formal or something? And the other thing is how to know where to use this in what context. That is the most important thing to me, for me right now. For instance, if I learn the word despondency or despondent and what was that? I just forgot. Anyways, it's synonym. When to use that word and when to use this word. So this is really confusing me.
So, first thing I'll say is, if you're not sure where to use words, you first have to pay attention to the context of where you saw them. So, for example, this book is, what is this book again? Show me the book.
Okay, I'm going to do that.
What's that book again?
It's just the first chapter, so I can't...
Okay, it's the first chapter of a book on neuroscience, right? Now, is neuroscience a basic concept?
No, it's not.
No. Is neuroscience a simple concept? No, it's not. So that means that the language that you're going to read in that book is absolutely not common language. Of course it's not. You're talking about neuroscience. Now, can you talk about neuroscience in a casual way? You can, sure. But why do they use more accurate words? When you talk in science, science needs things to be very clear and very accurate. So you can't use words that are kind of like this or kind of like that. You have to find words that are more accurate, right? So it's not so much, you need to know about where to use which words, right? So if you learn these words in a book like this, then you can assume that those are words that are okay to use in that type of environment. So any academic environment, if you are at a university and you tell your professor, I'm feeling a bit despondent, that's totally good. That's great. That's fantastic, because That tells your teacher you're feeling like you have no hope in this class anymore. And it's a good word. You know, you could just say, I feel hopeless, but I feel despondent is raising the level of the language. And that's what we do in certain environments. But we also lower the level of the language in certain environments too, right? So when I meet a professor, I'll introduce myself slightly differently than when I meet just some guy who's a friend of my friend, right? So if my best friend introduces me to one of his friends, hey, nice to meet you, good to see you, you know, right? Casual. But if I meet a professor, hello, sir, it's a pleasure to meet you, right? It's a different thing, right? So different words are for different places, right? Now, the difference between the words, the subtle differences between the words like that one, how did I find the difference between those words? I looked at the history. And I know that's hard sometimes, but the more advanced the language gets, the more valuable that becomes. Okay? The more advanced vocabulary words becomes, the more the roots make a big difference. Your understanding of the word will be much greater if you know the original meaning and you understand where it came from. Most of the time, the advanced words, when you look at the back history of them, the history, they will tell you something about it that will make it more clear to you. Like, what is the difference? So somebody asked me a couple weeks ago about the difference between hamper and hinder. To hamper someone or to hinder someone. And even I was like, well, that's interesting. I never thought about it. They're in English, they're really pretty much the same, right? Don't hamper my progress, don't hinder my progress. But I was curious if there was a difference, and there is. The word hamper, sometimes we also use the word hamper as a noun in English, and it means a laundry hamper. It's a basket that you put your laundry in, okay? Now, it looks like a small cage or a small box when you see a laundry hamper. They're usually like like some kind of a rectangular square thing with some holes in it or whatever that looks almost like a cage, right? Yeah. Because the original meaning of hamper meant to put someone in a cage. It meant to put them in a cage to stop them from doing something. So that's what hamper means. Now then I looked at hinder and I said, well, what does hinder mean? Hinder means to do something to someone to slow them down or try to stop them from doing something. So if I cut your leg, if I cut the back of your leg so you can't walk well, or I take away your shoes, I have hindered you. If I lock you in your room, I have hampered you. Okay? But in English, we often use those words interchangeably, and the majority of people have no idea what subtle difference there might be. All right? But sometimes the history of the word will be that's the thing you need to look at to find out what is really the difference here. You know? Sometimes it's very obvious once you see the history of the word. Like, okay? Then, I would say right now you're studying mostly advanced English, and that's probably a good thing, okay? Because advanced English actually requires quite a bit more study and focus to learn than casual English. Casual English will come. That's why I tell people, don't worry about your casual English. That will come. You have to start with good formal English first, and then once you have that, getting the casual thing is easy. All right? But not everybody can do it the other way around. Lots of people are good with casual English, but they are not good with formal English. Okay? So, then you have to just consider your sources, Jack. You have to think about, okay, if I'm reading a book that's like a casual book, then these are casual words I can use in casual environments. But if I'm reading a book that's Shakespeare, or I'm reading a book that's a biology book, those are not words for everybody every day. Those are words for certain places and certain people. Okay? So,
when we're looking to the history of a word, we're looking to the etymology, right?
Right. Yeah. That's when I say the history, that's etymology. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And another question is, here in the SAT, for instance, there's a type of question which says, which choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? And when I look to the options A, B, C, and D, most or 80% of the time, I don't know any of them. And is this a common problem with everybody, or is it just me?
Can you give me an example? Do you have an example?
Here, I know these words, but just let me see. Simple. I'm gonna flip the camera.
Okay.
So I know two of these, but for instance, D. The camera's not focusing though.
Yeah, I can't quite see it. Can you just read them to me?
Okay. D says
Placated
placed
by.
it by.
Placated by. Yeah, okay. So the first one is, what is it? Unsympathetic, apprised of, cited in, and placated by. Okay, so how do you know those words? All right, well, once again, etymology will help you a lot. Number one, the first one, unsympathetic. Un means what?
Un means the opposite.
Yeah, it means not,
word,
or
yeah.
it means the opposite, right? Yeah. So, unsympathetic is the opposite of sympathetic, right? Now, how can you know what sympathetic is? Again, if you look at the etymology, pathos is the Greek word that means feelings. And let me check the other one. Hold on. Let's see, sympathy. So the word sympathy, it breaks down into the first three letters, S-Y-N, meaning together. And then pathos means feeling. So sympathy means feeling together. So what that means is that when you have something bad happens to you, like your dad dies or something like that, I'll send you a sympathy card and I'll say, I'm so sorry for your loss. Condolences, right? And that's showing sympathy. Now, if I say, your dad died? I don't care. I am unsympathetic. Okay? So, if your teacher, you had a paper that was due, and you had a really bad problem and something happened in your family, and you go tell your teacher, we had a bad problem, I couldn't do it. And he says, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. You failed. He is unsympathetic. Yeah, okay. Now, apprised of. To be apprised of means to be composed of. That means, what is it made from? What is it? What are the components of it? That's what it's apprised of. Let's see. And let's look at that word. To apprise is a verb meaning to give notice. One moment. So apprised, to apprise someone is to let them know, right? To tell them about something. I've been apprised means I've been told. Okay. So let's see. I made a mistake. I was saying apprised of means to be made of. I'm sorry, that's comprised of, not apprised of. That was my mistake. Okay. So apprised means to be informed about something, right? So you were told about. I was apprised of it. I was told about it. Okay? Cited in, to cite someone. What is a citation?
When I cite something, I read something from in my mind.
Okay, yeah. But to cite something means that you mentioned a study, right? There's a study about this that does this and blah, blah, blah. If you're going to mention that study, then you need to cite it. That means you need a citation. You have to show somebody, oh, where is that study so I can see it too? Then you have to write it down. That's called a citation. That means you have to show somebody, where did you get your information from? Those are your citations. Okay? Then placated by. To be placated by something, to placate means to, I'm going to give you something because I want to make you happy and make you shut up. Like, I'm going to placate you. I'm going to do this thing for you. Okay? Because I'm tired of hearing about it. So here, I'm going to placate you. I'm going to do something for you. And again, if you look at the history of the word, placate. To appease or pacify. It comes from placation, placationum, meaning to appease or pacify. Placare, meaning to calm or appease or soothe. Okay, so yeah, the original meaning of the word placate means to like calm someone down. Okay, so I was placated by his present. Means I was mad before, but he gave me a present. Now I'm okay. Okay. Now, how did I know those words? There are many things. Okay, experience is the number one way I know those words. But the other way that I know those words is, Jack, this is the reason why I found Latin to be so useful. When I was in high school, when I was 15 years old, that was the first language I studied for 1 year was Latin, and it was incredibly hard, and I failed terribly. I think I got a D in that class, but I learned a lot about the root of English and how much comes from Latin and Greek. And then on my SATs, my vocabulary scores were way better than everybody else's because I could look at words and be like, oh, I've never seen that word, but I know that little root. And that helps me know the meaning. I can guess the meaning. I can figure it out. So it's one of those things where if you spend 1 year studying Latin and Greek roots in English, that will help you tremendously. Now, not everything in English comes from Latin or Greek, but the Latin and Greek ones are interesting because they have these roots that are in everything. So, for example, pre, the letters P-R-E. Pre means before. And there are many words in English that have pre. And post. Post means after. And there are many words in English that have post. And, right? Yeah, so when you learn those little bits, those little words, you know, when you see pathos, when you see anything with path in it, you can think, oh, that's probably feeling. It means something about feeling, right? So, or ology. What is an ology? Any kind of ology means the study of something. It's science or study of something, right? So, the more of those that you know, the bigger your advantage is. Because you only need a little piece. If you see that little piece, it's a hint. It'll tell you. It's enough. Okay? So, Latin is a very difficult language. That's why nobody speaks it anymore. But the roots of where the words come from, like for example, I remember the first one I learned. Still, I remember the first one I learned. The word agricola. Agricola in Latin means like farm or farmer, right?
In agriculture.
Agriculture, that's right. So every time you see any word that says A-G-R-I, that's agri, it has something to do with farming. You know, so we have agribusiness and agriculture and, you know, all these different words that come up that now you can know just by knowing that little bit, right? So it's useful to know about all the other histories too, like the words that come from Hindi and the words that come from you know, Arabic or Persian or Chinese or Japanese. Those are useful too. But the Latin and the Greek ones are so useful because of these root words that are so prevalent. They're ubiquitous. They're everywhere. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, sympathy and empathy are not quite the same. You're right, Shadow. To have sympathy is to feel sorry for someone. To feel empathy is to feel the same thing. Like you can understand their feelings. So, for example, again, empathy. In this case, let's look at the word again. Hold on. Empathy. Empathy, so in the en in empathy, or em in this case, it means in, and then pathos means feeling. So empathy means to be able to feel it inside, like you can understand the same feeling, the same point of view. That's empathy. okay? That you have a feeling inside that you can understand their feeling inside. Sympathy is the same kind of thing, but syn, the SYM part, means together. So it means that together you feel bad, right? So when somebody dies, we usually send them a sympathy card, not an empathy card. So if you fail a test and you feel terrible, I'll be like, oh, I'm empathetic. Means I can understand. Like, that's bad. You know, I get it. But if your father dies, I'll say I have sympathy for you. And that means I feel sad with you. Okay? That's the difference.
Okay. So the last question is, when I'm reading these texts and I come across a word that I don't know, I've never heard before, so shall I look to all of the meanings to that word, or just the meaning that is used in these contexts?
Wait, can you say that to me one more time? I was reading comments. I'm so sorry. Repeat your question.
No, not a big deal. So I'm reading a text and I encounter a word that I've never seen before. Then I go and look up and I see multiple meanings to this word. Shall I use all, shall I learn all of them, or just the meaning that is used in this context?
I think I would probably just try to focus on the meaning in that context. But I would just try to read and pay attention to look. Occasionally there's a word that will have a secondary meaning that's really different, and that's kind of important, right? So usually the secondary or tertiary means third. Usually those meanings are somewhat related, you know, they're like not completely different. But occasionally you see a word that has a secondary meaning that's almost completely different. That's kind of important to know. Okay, so most of the time when you're reading books like this, like a nonfiction textbook style book, try to find the meaning that's appropriate for that, right? Like what the context of what you're reading. But if you're reading like a novel or something like that, those books have words that might be more common, and those might have meanings that are multiple meanings that could be useful. Okay, so when you're reading a science book, just focus on the science for that time. You know, focus on the terminology that you need at that moment.
Yeah, and the problem is that while I pick a lot of vocabulary. For instance, I have a flashcard set here on the phone, which is about 100 words. But the problem is I don't know whether to use this when I'm talking to people. Would that sound too formal or something, since I picked those from SAT questions?
Here's what I would tell you. Use them. Here's why. In life, if you make a mistake and say a word that's too informal, it could be bad. But if you say a word that's too formal, probably nothing bad will happen. People might just think, wow, that's a little bit formal for this situation, right? Okay, so the difference is that sometimes when you use a word that's too informal, it may not have the right mood and may not convey the right feeling, and then people might think your English is not good. But if you use a word that's more advanced and you happen to use it maybe in a context that's a little too casual, but you use it anyway, so what? That just makes you look like the smart guy. You know? So you could say, he's really smart. Or I could say, he's brilliant. Or he's erudite. You know? Or I could say, she's feeling a bit sad today. Or I could say, she's feeling a bit melancholic. Right? Now, it depends on who I'm talking to, and it depends on what situation I'm in. And guess what? There are times when I might choose the more formal word. Do you know why? Because I can. You have something called poetic license, artistic license. What that means is when you are a writer, guess what? When you write a book, it's your book. There are no rules when it's your book. It's your book. You can do whatever you want. And my example is there's a famous poet named E.E. Cummings. And why is E.E. Cummings famous? He's famous for one really simple reason. He hated capital letters.
Mm-hmm.
So he never used them, ever. He would write poetry with no capital letters in them. Is it wrong? On a test? Yeah. But it's his poetry. So no, it's not wrong. It's what he wanted to do. That's called artistic license. So, you have artistic license when you speak. You can use whatever words you want to use. And guess what? Sometimes it's not about whether they think the word is appropriate or not. It's about if you think the word is appropriate or not. Don't always consider what other people think. Sometimes maybe you should elevate the language just because you can. Okay? So,
I understand.
yeah, so don't worry about using big words. The worst thing that can happen if you use a big word is people will be like, wow, damn, he knows some big words. Like, that's a little too formal for this occasion. And then you'll know, then you'll learn, hey, that word is a little bit formal, but I used it right, it's just too formal. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
So don't worry, never ever worry about using words that are too big. Worry about the opposite. If you're always using small words, you're always using casual words, and you don't know how to use any formal words, that's a much bigger problem than occasionally using a formal word in a casual situation. Okay, if you go if you go to 7-Eleven and you buy something at 7-Eleven and you say thank you, that's okay. Or you could also say gratitude. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. You just now have elevated yourself. Gratitude, my friend. Okay? So, nothing wrong with that. Be who you want to be, man. The words you choose are who you are. Language is part of us. Right? So, choose your words. If you like that word, use it.
Yeah, okay.
All right? Anything else?
No, thank you. Thank you for helping me today. Gratitude.
No problem. There you go. See? Right? Gratitude. And you're talking to a teacher and you're in a formal situation. It's a perfect word. Nothing wrong with using that.
Yeah.
Okay? But again, formality is not the problem. It's informality that's the problem. Okay? All right. I'm going to let you go and see if I can talk to a couple other people, but it was good to see you again, and good luck to you, and I'll talk to you next time, okay?
Thank you. See you again.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's see. Let me check the comments, and then I'll see if I can get somebody else up on stage. Just be patient for a moment. Let's see. That was a clever choice to study Latin. Ornella, I don't think it was very clever. I think it was pretty stupid. Because I did get a D. Why? Because it is really hard. That's why nobody took it. I took it because it was weird and different, and I was, when I was 15, I liked to be weird and different. And I didn't want to take Spanish like everybody took, and my brother took French, and German was close. I had thought about German, and that's the language I ended up switching to, was German. But, and my father did study Latin. So I thought it would be interesting. But, and it is interesting, but it is also extremely difficult and really, it's the most useful language. So, as a language itself, completely useless. But as a root language, it's brilliant. Okay? No, empathy and sympathy are not deeper or less, no, there's not, it's different. It's, again, they have the same roots, pathos and path, right? So empathy and sympathy, that path part means feeling, okay? The only difference is the sin part, sim means together. So together we feel something. Okay, that's sympathy. That's why it's usually used when someone has something bad happens to them. like someone died in their family. Then you have sympathy. Together you feel bad with them. Okay, it's like you want to help them get through this and you want to be there for them. Now, here's what I will say. To have sympathy, you must have empathy. Okay, so empathy means that you can understand that someone might feel bad about something. It's like the ability to think of other people. That's what empathy is. If you are empathetic, it means you have the ability to imagine what it's like for them. So it must be hard. So now you have, oh, I understand. That must be hard for you. Okay? So to have sympathy, you must have empathy. All right? Now, let me see. I can understand C2 vocabulary. I can understand native speakers 99%, but I speak like B2, B1 level. How can I solve that? Amal, I would say you need to... Let me think about that for a moment. Well, you need to challenge yourself more. You need to push yourself more. There are 8 different ways to consider language, right? Reading, writing, listening, speaking, thinking, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. So, what are you doing in these 8 areas to push yourself beyond B2, right? So, what are you doing? Are you reading C1 level stuff? Are you writing C1 level stuff? Are you listening to C1 level stuff? Are you trying to speak with C1 level language, right? If you want to be at C1 level, then you must do C1 things. That's really that simple. Whatever level you are at, if you are a B1, then you should be trying to push yourself by doing B2 level things. If you are B2, you should be doing C1. If you are C1, you should be doing C2. Okay? Some, not all, some. You have to push yourself. Okay? All right. You can read pretty good and with good pronunciation, but when I speak with my accent... Mina, I think you're worried about your accent, but if your accent is clear, then you don't need to worry. Nobody cares if you have an accent. People only care if they can't understand your accent, right? So an accent is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. You should want it, not to get rid of it. You should want to keep it, but you need to make it very clear, okay? You have to make it something that you can be proud to show off, meaning that, yes, I'm from Egypt, and you can hear it in my voice, but you can also understand every word with perfect clarity. So now you have the benefit of perfect clarity and cultural appreciation. Okay? Why is it easy to understand me? Because I am a teacher. It is my job to be understood. Okay? Does using more idioms more often, will that increase our fluency in some way? No, I wouldn't say using them more often is going to increase your fluency. No. You just need to know some. You know, idioms make language more fun. Idioms are like little stories that you can tell in 1 second. 2 birds with 1 stone. That's a story. Okay? I'm on cloud 9. That means I'm really happy. And do you know why it means I'm really happy? Because there are many kinds of clouds, but the 9th kind, the kind that was discovered, that was the 9th one, is the biggest kind, the cumulonimbus cloud. And the cumulonimbus clouds are huge and big, and so when you're on cloud 9, it's like you're on the biggest, puffiest, most beautiful cloud. That's what that means. It's just poetic. I'm on cloud 9. I could say I'm just really happy. Okay? All right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up with all the comments. I'm sorry, everybody. Please be patient. Please be patient. Why is it not working anymore? I don't know why it's not working. Rose, hold on a moment. I'll try to get you up if you're still waiting. What's the difference between agile and nimble? Let me think about that. They're very similar. Let me take a look at something. I think that I would say that they're often interchangeable. But agile is more about no, that's about people. No. That's not a good answer. Let me find a better answer. So they both describe an ability to move or react quickly and well, right? Like with good movement. But sometimes they're used differently. Agile is usually talking about a specific type of methodology. Yeah, see, I don't think I agree with this definition. Here's what I would say. Nimble is like being able to act quickly to do something. He's nimble. They acted nimbly, means they acted swiftly and quickly and efficiently to do something. Okay? Whereas agile is more like your dexterity. It's like your ability to move well. So if I say his agility is great, he has great agility, he's very agile, that means his movements are really excellent movements, right? So I would say that anybody who is agile is probably nimble, but not everybody who is nimble is agile. Because what that means is, nimble means to act quickly. So it's to use your agility in a quick manner. That's being nimble. But agility itself is just like a high skill level in movement. That's what I would say. Okay? The AI answer is talking about companies and the way they use the word talking about companies, but to be honest with you, I think that's ridiculous. Yeah, these are all business. They're using it in a business context, but that's weird because that's not the way we usually use those words. Nimble and agile are used about people, not about businesses. I mean, you can, but it's weird that that's the first thing that they told me was about the business aspect of it. That's very weird. Okay, I'm sorry. I am not a singer. I am a drummer. How can you check your English level? ChatGPT. To be understood or understandable. Those mean the same thing. Hello, Jose. Good to see you, my friend. How's Nicki Minaj? I like checking idioms in different languages also, Ornella. Hello, Belen. Big hugs. Agile is a methodology in project management? Well, see, yeah, I'm not familiar with that at all. That's weird. To me, that's very weird. That is not the main meaning of the words. Neither nimble nor agile are used in business more than anything else. No, those are words used to describe people. Now, apparently they are now used to describe businesses in a similar way, being that agile means an efficiency and excellence in the way your company works, right? Your methodology. That's your agile. Your ability to move quickly would be your nimbleness, okay? Will it be okay to catch a cold while listening to my lecture? I suppose, but You should rest. You should rest. She had nimble fingers for needlework. Yeah. That's where the word nimble is almost used more like agile, really, because nimble is more about swiftly. Yeah, but this is where language becomes somewhat hard to, what the way I see the word might not be the same way you see the word. That does happen. There is a certain amount of vocabulary that is about personal understanding. My personal understanding of those words are, as I explained, nimble and agile. Okay? You were in a live stream with a lot of cringe people. They were calling a Korean guy, oh yeah, that's not good. Yeah, there are a lot of cringe people on here. They let anybody do a live stream. Can you imagine if you just told anybody they could go on TV anytime they want to do anything they want? How stupid would it be? Well, welcome to the internet! Welcome to the internet, because it's pretty much the same thing. They let anybody do anything, and now that means that 99% of what you see is pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid, because most people don't have anything to do or really say. That's funny. That's your first time hearing agile in a different way. That's so funny. And you're used to hearing agility, dexterity, and strength in games. That's correct. That would be the more traditional view of the words agility and dexterity and strength. Thank you, Salman. I haven't tried Nikki's TikTok challenge, no. Okay, I'm so sorry. I caught up with the comments, finally. All right. Now, I'm so sorry if it took too long, but I finally caught up with the comments. So if you want to raise your hand, come talk to me, you can. Let's see, Megan, are you there, Megan? Megan, hello? One more time. Megan, hello. Megan, are you there? Do you want to come on stage? Okay, let's try the next in line. So weird. For my YouTube people over here watching YouTube, I don't know why, but it says my messages are currently unavailable. So if you are messaging me over here in YouTube, I'm so sorry, but I cannot see it today for some reason. So I'm not able to reply. Hello to my friend here from the Middle East, from Saudi Arabia. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me.
You are welcome. And what should I call you?
What?
What? Can you say it again?
What?
What? Okay, what? Nice to meet you. And what can I do for you today? How can I help you?
I have a question.
Okay.
About grammar.
Okay.
So, apparently I don't think that I haven't studied grammar.
Okay.
And I make a lot of grammar mistake when I speak, when I type something. So what do I do? Like, I think I have to study grammar all over again, right? How do I do that?
Well, let me ask you this first. Why do you need English?
I need it for jobs.
Okay, so when you use your English, you're using it at work usually.
Well, I just graduated, and maybe I will complete my studying. Like, I don't know, but
okay.
But 100% I need English.
Okay. Do you know what kind of job you're going into, or what kind of work you want to do?
I don't really know.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay. So here's what I'll tell you. First of all, your English is pretty good. I can hear you. Your accent is great. You have almost no accent. So that's excellent. And then I have heard you make a couple of small grammar mistakes, but they're pretty small, and they didn't cause any communication problems. So that's why I asked, what is your purpose? Because if your purpose is just traveling, like hanging out with your friends or traveling or watching TV and movies, your English is already good enough. You're fine. You can.
My purpose is academic. And
Okay.
I'm about to take an exam, a test
Okay.
for English. And
So then you should brush up on your grammar, is what we say. You need to brush up on it. You get a brush out and it's dusty. Okay? That's what I tell people. Grammar is kind of like the table in your kitchen. You clean it every day, don't you? The table in your
Right
kitchen.
there.
Yeah, because a kitchen table needs to be cleaned all the time. You're never finished cleaning it, right? Same thing with grammar. Grammar is like something that it's like the table that needs to be polished every day, a little bit, just to keep it clean. Okay? So, how can you study grammar now? How did you study grammar before?
In college, like
Nope.
books
Books.
in traditional way. I have a book now that I can study.
Which
from.
one do you have? Can you tell me the name?
Let me check, please. Just 1 second.
Mm-hmm. What if my students don't listen to me and play phone on my lesson? I don't teach anybody like that. I won't accept you as my student. If I have a student that's a child, they have to interview with me before I accept them as a student. And I will not accept any student who is not interested in English. Okay? So if your kid has no interest in learning English, I'm not teaching them. Okay? That's one. Two, they have to show me that they have the attention span to be able to do online lessons and pay attention. And they have to show that they have respect for a teacher and my time. If you can do those three things, then I will teach your child. But if you cannot, then I will not. It's very simple. I'm not going to teach a kid who doesn't want to learn, and definitely not going to do it on a computer online. Yeah. I have about 100 people waiting to take lessons with me, students, children, but I won't take them unless they can be good students.
All right. So the book is from Cambridge Grammar for IELTS.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. There are many, many grammar books that are out there. Yeah, you can review that book. All right, that's not a bad way to go. I would say that what you should do is you need to create a good battle plan for grammar. Okay, how am I going to attack this problem? Right? And I want you to attack it from many different sides, not just one side. So you have the grammar book. That's great. That's one side. Now, how can you attack it from another side? How about ChatGPT? Ask ChatGPT to help you improve and fix and correct your grammar. It's actually the best way, because what you can do is if you tell ChatGPT, start a conversation with it and tell it, I need to improve my grammar. Then tell it, please have a conversation with me, or a series of conversations with me about different things, different topics. And after I finish talking with you, tell me what my most common grammar mistakes are. And it will look at your writing. It will look at everything you said. That's why you should write a lot. Write as much as you can. The more you write, the better it's going to be able to help you. It'll be able to look at all your writing and say, well, you always make this mistake, and this mistake, and this mistake, and this mistake. Because guess what? 80% of your mistakes in grammar are usually just 3 or 4 or 5 problems that you make again and again and again. Right? So if you fix those few problems, those 3 or 4 or 5 problems, then your grammar is 80% better. Okay? So that's one way, is using that. There's another website that I like to use. Now, the website that I use is a little bit more for basic grammar than advanced grammar, but it's still good. It's just called games2learnenglish.com. There's a great website. It's free, and it's all games. Nothing but games about English. So there are games about present perfect tense, and there are games about sentence structure, and there are games about vocabulary, and games about the time of the year or time of the day or things like that. There are lots of different games to play. So that's another way to do it. So my point is that whenever I need to do something, to learn something, I try to make a battle plan where I am attacking it from the front, from the side, from the back, from this angle, from that angle, from on top, from below. Do you understand?
Yes.
So that's what I call building your mountain of knowledge, where you're using every tool you can. People always ask me here, what's the best way to learn English? And they always want me to give them one. Like, videos are the best way, or movies are the best way, or books are the best way. But no, guys, the best way is so obvious. It's clearly every way. If you're going to learn something, the best way to learn it would be every way that you can learn it, not one way. That's a logical fallacy. When you try to look for one way to do something for learning, that's a mistake. You should do it every way. Okay? And it also keeps it more interesting when you do that. Grammar is boring. Grammar is so boring. Nobody likes grammar. Well, nobody sane likes grammar. So, you got to try to do it in more than one way. The book is good, but go use ChatGPT and go play a video game about it and try to do many different ways. Look for some apps to see if there's some apps to practice your grammar. Look for some websites. If you go to my website, there is an entire link on my website called Grammar. Let me show you. Okay, go to my website. My website's right here. Okay, let me see if I can pull it up and I'll share my screen and show you what it looks like. Let's see. One moment. Log in. Okay, share screen. So, on my website, everybody, if you go to my website right here, if you go up to the top of my website, you can go to this one, resources, right here, and you click on resources, and now look. Oh, do you want to work on your reading? Click here. You want to work on your writing? Click here. Down here, grammar. Look at that. Let's look at grammar. GamesToLearnEnglish.com. That's the website I just told you about. BBC English Grammar. Dave's ESL Cafe Grammar. LO English Grammar. These are all websites, free websites to practice grammar. Okay? So if you go to my website, I already tried to find all the best resources for you, and I put them in one place. And you can even go here to the IELTS TOEFL one, and there are more. IELTS Advantage, IELTS Speaking Simulator, British Council on IELTS, IELTS practice tests, Scientific American, that's a good resource for reading advanced science reading. IELTS Simon, right? So everything you need to study English is right here on my website. And these are all free. Okay?
Thank you. These are really valuable resources.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. So go there. You can always go to my website and you can always explore the resources and look at them. And yeah, I'm trying to give you so many different ways to look at things and so many different ways to study things and different ways to practice, because the more ways you have, the more of an advantage you have. Okay?
So what I do in the book that I mentioned to you, I go to the grammar. I start with the tenses, present, let's say present simple. So every grammar has uses.
Mm-hmm.
So I struggle to memorize all the uses of each grammar.
Yeah, especially tenses. Some of them are not as common, right? But guess what? That is a perfect question for ChatGPT. You can ask it, which tenses in English are the most usable, most commonly used? And which ones are less common and that I don't need to use that much? Get familiar with which ones are more common first, right? And it can help you with that. It'll tell you, oh yeah, these simple, obviously simple is the most common. right? Simple present, simple past, simple future, right? So, but then there are others that it can help you with, and some of them are very rarely used, okay, even by natives, okay? So, but that's a really great question for ChatGPT to help you to find which are the more practical ones that I should use, that I should focus on, and which are the ones that I do need to know, but they're not that common. Okay?
Yes. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Just remember, guys, I hear a lot of people talking about how ChatGPT or AI is not perfect. Well, guess what, guys? It's better than anything that we've ever had on this planet. So it's kind of weird that we talk about, well, it's not as good as it could be, but it's pretty amazing. So stop talking about what it can't do and go look at what it can do, because it can do a lot. I use it every day. I know. And I use it in valuable ways. I don't use it to make me dumber. I use it to make me smarter. Lots of people use it just to answer questions so they don't have to think. I do the opposite. I ask it questions so I do have to think. Okay? It's a brilliant tool, but it's only brilliant if you have a brilliant mind. Okay? What? Are you still there?
Yeah. Thank
Okay,
you.
good. I'm just glad. I just want to make sure you heard me. Okay.
I heard everything.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Okay, great. Well, I'm going to let you go, but good luck to you, and come back and see me again sometime and let me know how it goes, okay?
I watch you every day.
Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Duolingo ain't that good if you're aiming for very advanced levels. Again, Shadow, what I would say is arguing about whether Duolingo is good or not is kind of strange, because it's better than anything that we've ever had before. Is it better than the book you probably have? Probably. Is it better than the classes that they used to take in school? Yeah, it is. It's more effective. It's so effective that now universities accept their test. So it's pretty effective. It's pretty useful. Okay? What should I do if sometimes it shows the wrong answer and I'm not aware of it? Well, Alice, anytime it gives me any answer, I do just what I would do with my students. When my students give me an answer, I tell them they have to show me their work. Right? Just like if you're in a math class and the teacher asks you to solve a math problem, you have to show that you know how to solve the problem. Right? Not just the answer. Right? So, whenever it gives me an answer, I ask it to prove it to me. Show me the data. Show me that it's true. Give me every link, every resource. Show me that what you're telling me is true. Don't just accept it. Don't just believe it. Okay? All right. Okay, guys, hey, you got to be patient. You know, we do have a basic principle of humanity here. And if I'm talking to someone, if I'm in the middle of talking or answering a question, don't interrupt me. And certainly don't tell me, put me on stage. I'm talking. Don't interrupt. Be polite. Okay? Don't ask relationship questions from ChatGPT. I'll tell you what, it actually, I have, not because I don't even have a relationship, but I tested it. I wanted to see how it is about doing that. And I'll be honest with you, I actually think it gives better advice than most people do. If you give it let's put it this way, if you are honest when you tell it the information, then it will give you a good answer. But the problem is most people are not honest. So when they tell it something, they lead it to where they want it to go. They don't give it honest information. Right? If you don't give it honest information, if you lead it, it's going to do that. Okay? And it is always on your side. But so is your teacher in your classroom. Your teacher is always on your side too. Does that mean you can't trust your teacher? No, it means that the teacher is there to support you and to want to encourage you, just like ChatGPT is. But you have to be smart enough to remember that when you get out into the real world, there's not going to be somebody telling you how great you are all the time. Okay? All right. Okay. Any other comments? Let's see. You want to ask me about the IELTS. What do you want to ask me about? That's a big question. What's my method for learning a new language? Robert, I'm writing a book about that. I can't answer that. That's a book. Okay, Robert? You're going to have to wait until my book is finished. Or you can go to my blog and start reading it. IELTS or PTE, which is difficult. I'm not very familiar with the PTE. I am mostly familiar with the IELTS and the TOEFL exam, so I can't really give you any information because I'm not familiar enough. Okay? I debate and discuss research topics sometimes with AI. I do brainstorming. Yeah, it's great for that. It's fantastic for that. Yeah. Okay, yes, go here. If you want to follow me, go there. You'll find everything. You can find my YouTube and my website and my blog and everything. All right, let's talk to Salman. Is Salman still there? Are you there? Salman? Salman, are you there? Anyone else want to raise their hand and come talk to me? David has a big question for me. Well, what's your big question, David? Why is life hard? That's a big question. How to talk or speak less to express yourself, or is it not a bad thing, or is it a sign of weakness? No, we have a saying in English. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more. Okay? So yeah, there are some times when using a few words well is better than using a lot of words poorly. Do I use a VPN? No, I don't need to use a VPN for HelloTalk. HelloTalk is not behind the wall. All right, David. David is waiting. Salman, I tried to invite you. I don't know what happened. Hello, David.
Hello. Good evening. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How are you?
Fine. How about you?
I'm pretty good. What can I do for you?
I just want to know if the ChatGPT can replace our jobs, maybe in the future.
Some of them, absolutely. It's already replacing many, many jobs now. It's already doing it. And it is going to replace many, many, many jobs. There are many coding jobs that are not needed at all anymore. Now, advanced coding, it's still, you know, if you're really good at advanced coding, then okay, maybe you still have a career for a while. But there are so many jobs that absolutely are going to be affected directly by ChatGPT. And it will replace many, many, many kinds of jobs. Any kind of work that has to do with data processing or writing, things like that, content production, things like that, those things are probably not going to be done by people very much longer. Or I will say probably what will happen is it will change and it will be, AI will do the work, but it will be supervised by a human. Like almost like a conductor in an orchestra, right? So so there'll be like an entire newspaper will be run by one person with 20 AI bots that do everything for it, and it just oversees all of the AI. So it does have a human boss, but it's all run by AI, and then it replaced 50 people. You know, so yeah, it is going to replace a lot of jobs, and it's going to change the economy pretty tremendously all over the world. But I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that we're due for change. I think that
Yeah.
that
A big change.
yeah, I think we need a big change because I think that economics, the way it works is, for example, a long time ago in America, there was a store called Sears Roebuck. Sears Roebuck was the biggest store in America in the 1950s. They were like Amazon back then. You could buy everything from them. You could order a house from them. They would ship you the parts for a house, and you could build your own house from. You could order it online. I'm not joking. And they were amazing houses. They were not like cheap garbage. They were really good houses. But guess what? Sears is gone now. And
Okay.
why is Sears gone now? Because Sears thought, I'm so big, I'm never going to go anywhere. I don't need to worry. They didn't change. They didn't pay attention to the change. And so now they're gone.
Maybe that's
Go ahead.
some innocence in the human beings. Yeah.
Well, what I would say is like, this is just like evolution. Why are the dinosaurs not here anymore? They didn't adapt. Why is Sears not here anymore? They didn't adapt. So there are people who are doing some jobs that are going to have to adapt. They're going to have to learn how to do something else, do something new, you know?
Yeah.
But I also think that it's going to be where many things will be gone, but there will be many new things that'll be created, right? So there'll be new
Maybe
opportunities.
We have to help to clean up some robots.
Well, yeah, that's possible. That's possible. But what you know, in a perfect world, in you know, if we have a perfect society, then what will happen is we won't really need to work anymore. Work itself will be a funny thing. Why do we work anymore? If there are machines and bots that can do it, then why do we do it? Right? And what I mean is like a factory job. You know, like, why do I do that job? If I can get a robot to do that, then I can go do something else. I can go read a book. I can study art. I can learn music. Those are things that humans should spend more time doing. Oh no, we lost David. Probably the time limit. David, are you still there? So that's what people are hoping. We're crossing our fingers and hoping that AI could take us in two directions. One direction would be we are the slaves of AI, and the other direction would be that AI frees us from what we traditionally thought we had to do, which was work. You know? I know that sounds crazy, but I have a feeling that in 200 years we're going to look back on this time period when everybody thought, you know, what do you do was so important. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a mechanic, you define yourself by your job. I think in 200 years that's going to be weird. People are going to say, that's so weird. Why would you define yourself by a job? You know? You can define yourself by developing your personality and your character, not by your work. Athena, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry, Athena. I hope you're okay. I have gone through that before, and I know how hard it can be. I hope you're okay. Big hug. Okay. David, you're back. Yeah, I don't know what happened, David. We lost you. Let me get David up here again. And then, Athena, I see you. I'll bring you up in just a second, okay?
Sorry,
That's
my
okay.
connection.
That's all right, David. That's all right.
I still remember you said that people in the future will be defined by their characters, not their jobs. That's a good sentence. I love it.
Yeah, and you know what's so funny is that we used to define people that way. Like, for example, I always try to think about, like, Leonardo da Vinci. Da Vinci, right? When you think about Da Vinci, Everybody thinks he's a genius. Wow, he's such a genius. But my question is, what was his job?
Yeah.
He did many things. He did
Yeah.
he did
Many
art,
things.
he did invention, he did math, he did science, he did astronomy, he did music, he did so many things. He didn't define himself by a job. He defined himself by the things he's able to do. So,
Yes.
and you can do many things. You know, so I can cook really well, and I can play drums pretty well, and I can teach. So instead of defining yourself by one thing, you define yourself by many things that are part of your character, not part of your work. Teaching
Yeah.
teaching is not a job to me. Teaching is like a calling. It's kind of like being a priest. Is a priest a job?
No.
Not really, no. Like, nobody goes to become a priest unless you have a calling. Like, you feel like you have to do that, right? It's not about money. It's about belief. It's about character.
belief, yeah.
It's about character. And again, so
Yeah.
I don't teach for the money. I don't play music for the money. I do it because it's what I love. That's my character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So actually, I write a lot of things every day, and I ask help from the GPT, and GPT helps me to do a lot of writing work. But you know, human beings can recognize that my paperwork
Is from
done
ChatGPT?
by-
Oh yeah, it's actually very easy to notice it sometimes. I use it every day, but I'll tell you why it's okay the way I use it. Like when I ask ChatGPT to help me write maybe a blog post I'm writing or a chapter for my book. When most people ask ChatGPT a question, they only ask it one or two questions and that's it. Then whatever answer ChatGPT gave, that's the answer they use. I never do that, ever. So when I ask ChatGPT a question, it's going to be many questions. It's going to be, I'll ask it this, and then it'll say this, and then I'll argue with it. So, I will go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over and over, and I'll say, I like the way you said this, but I don't like the way you said this, and I don't want you to use an M dash. I want you to use a comma. I correct it. I edit it. So
Yeah.
the way I do it is not lazy. It's just like a writing coach, like a helper, right? So they're not writing for me. They're helping me to write the words that I really want. That's much different than most people. Most people just are like, I don't want to do this work. Do it for me. You know, like that's what most people are using it for. I use it because I want to write the best words I can, but that takes time. You have to find the right words. And that takes, you have to talk about it. You have to debate it, right? So sometimes I talk about one of my favorite books when I was growing up was a book by Plato, The Republic. It was called The Republic. And it was a philosophy book. But it was a philosophy book that was about a bunch of guys arguing. They were just sitting around and talking about government and saying, well, I think government would be best if we did this. And the other guy would say, well, that's a good idea, but what about this? And they just keep arguing back and forth about, well, that's good, but that's not good. And, you know, if you use ChatGPT like that, it's brilliant. But you have to argue with it. You have to debate. You can't just accept what it tells you. You have to argue with it. So
Yeah. GPT actually is a helper.
yeah, it's a great helper. But yes, it's really easy. I'll tell you one way that I can tell when somebody uses ChatGPT that's so obvious. There's something called the M dash in writing. Do you guys know what an M dash is? An M dash is like a hyphen. Hyphen is this one. This is a hyphen, right? A hyphen is just one little slash, right? An M dash is like a longer one. Okay?
Oh,
And
yeah.
sometimes they use them in between sentences. Well, guess what? ChatGPT is like addicted to using M dashes. So anytime you see something written with ChatGPT, it always has like 10 M dashes in it. And it's like, oh, it's so obvious this was written by ChatGPT because nobody uses M dashes that much, you know?
Yeah.
And even when I tell it, sometimes I'll tell it, don't use M dashes. I don't want them. And then it will listen to me for a little while, and then it'll start using them again. So you have to be careful. You have to. I'll tell you what you have to have. If you're going to use ChatGPT to help you do anything, but especially writing, you have to have integrity and pride. And what that means is, I am not going to put something with my name on it unless I wrote it.
Yeah.
So if it has my name on it, then I have to feel a sense of integrity and pride that I'm not going to put something out there if it's not really from me. Okay? But many people, they don't really have any integrity and they don't really have any pride, so they just, oh, sure, here's something from ChatGPT, whatever, yeah. Yeah. And they hope it'll make people think they're smarter, but it doesn't. It only makes people think you're smarter if you know how to use it well. So that's what I tell everybody about AI. AI is only brilliant if you are brilliant. Yes. So if you know how to use it well, then it's amazing. But if you don't, it's as smart as you are and it's as dumb as you are. So if you're dumb and you don't know how to use it well, then that's what's going to happen. It's going to give you dumb answers, and you're not going to learn. You're not going to grow. Oh, we lost him again. So anyway, I use ChatGPT all the time. It only agrees with you. Of course it does. Of course it does. So what? So what? Most of your best teachers, they also agree with you. They support you. Hey, that's a great idea. That's what I always tell my students. If my student comes to me and says, hey, Teacher Mark, I want to build a house on the moon, I'm going to tell that student, hey, that's a great idea. I really love that idea. Tell me more about it. I'm not going to tell my student, that's a stupid idea. You can't build a house on the moon. That's dumb. So AI does what any good teacher would do. It tries to encourage you. You just have to not, if you're the kind of person who takes compliments really easily, then ChatGPT is going to be hard for you because you're going to use ChatGPT to make yourself feel like you're awesome. But if you don't take compliments well, like I don't really take compliments well. When people tell me I'm good or I'm great, I always feel awkward. I don't feel comfortable with that. Because I feel I'm still working. I feel I'm not great. I feel I'm still just a guy trying his best. That's all I feel. So I don't take compliments well. So that means when it tells me, oh, you're so amazing, you're so brilliant, I don't buy it. I don't believe it. Okay? They are not human. Of course they're not human. But it's based on human data. Yeah. That's okay. That's all right, David. It happens. Can AI learn all the knowledge of humans? Well, AI is based on all of the knowledge of humans. That's what it knows. It knows everything that we have given it. So anything it doesn't know is because we didn't show it. It's basically like when I was a boy, if you wanted to know about a country, if I wanted to know about China when I was a boy, there was no internet. I had no internet. I could go to the library and find a book about China, or I could go up to my brother's room, my older brother. We had a set of encyclopedias. They're books that tell you everything about some, like little, they're like dictionaries, right? Like you have the A book and the B book and the C book, and then you go look at the C book and you look at the country of Cameroon, and then you look at the D book and you look at democracy, and you look at the Z book for zebras, right? Like a dictionary. And in that encyclopedia, there will be just a little bit of information. And that's all I know. That's it. Okay, so that's how I would learn before. Now I can ask it and it will show me so much more. Just because it's not perfect doesn't mean it's not amazing. You know? So the way you guys are arguing about whether it's good or bad is just silly, because it's way better than anything we've ever had. It's way better than anything we've ever had. Okay? If we use it, is learning languages still necessary? Necessary? Probably not. Useful? Yes, definitely. Practical? Yes, definitely. Educational? Yes, definitely. Beneficial? Yes, definitely. So, just because you don't need to do it anymore doesn't mean it doesn't have value anymore. Okay? I don't need to ride a bicycle anymore. We have cars. But people still ride bicycles. I don't need to play drums anymore. They have computers that can make drums happen. But I still play drums. Okay? Has it surpassed humans in certain fields such as programming? As far as I know, in coding, yes. You know, I know a lot of guys are going to argue about it, but get real. Come on. I'm sorry, but no, it's burying you. It's putting you out of work. There won't be many coding jobs in the next 5 years. Most coding jobs will be gone. There will be no more coding jobs. Sorry. It can do it better than you. It's not... Only at the most advanced levels is coding actually creative. At the basic levels, it's basic. It can do that. All right? Language learning apps are good, but not this app. Well, again, this app is only as good as you make it. Right? So if you watch a bunch of losers and people who don't know what they're talking about, then sure, it's not very valuable. But if you're careful and you try to find people who have value, it's very useful. Okay? Now we're getting into things that are a little bit too deep for me. I love deep stuff, but I don't want to get too deep. The thing that you're talking about is something that we've been talking about this for hundreds of years. Okay? Plato and Socrates, they used to talk about something called the allegory of the cave. The allegory of the cave was the same idea of, like, do we know if things are real or not? And Rene Descartes, he also had the evil genie. The evil genie was this idea that he thought that maybe there's some master magician, a master brilliant person who's running everything, and that none of this is real, but this is all just a simulation. And then we had the Matrix. But the Matrix, that idea has been around since Plato or before. That idea that we don't know if this is real or not. And actually, physicists, advanced physicists, they have math that will say it isn't real. There is math, advanced math, that will show that this is probably a simulation. Everything we're doing. There is advanced math that does show that that's likely true. Whether it's really true or not, we'll have to find out. We don't know. But the way I see it is, whether it's true or not, you should play it. Imagine, it's like a video game. Okay? Now, this is what Elon Musk does. I've read articles where he talks about this. Now, I don't like him. If you watched me, you know I do not like this man at all. I think he's an peephole. But this one idea he has is similar to me in the fact that he doesn't know if life is real or not, but he plays it like it's a game, and he wants to win. Now, the only problem is that he is not a very moral man. He doesn't care about anything. He says he does, but he says he does because he wants you to believe it. That's good marketing. It's PR. That's what that is. But when he plays a video game, he's trying to win at all costs. Okay? But life is not a game, and it's not a game to be won. It's a game. It's an existence for all of us, not a game for one of us. Right? It's an existence for all of us, not a game for one of us. So I do play life like it's a game. I think about it that way sometimes. But what I want is when I win, I want all of us to win. I want all of us to win. I don't want just one person to win. Do you guys know the game Monopoly? Have you guys ever heard of the game Monopoly, the board game, the table board game Monopoly? That game is a very old game. It came out in the 1910s or 1920s. Let me check. Monopoly first year. 1935. Oh, no, sorry, 1903. 1903 was when it was first created. But it wasn't called Monopoly back then. It had a different name. And actually, it was a very different game. The game Monopoly had two different sets of rules. So you could play the game two different ways. Okay? So the original name of the game, Monopoly, was not called Monopoly. The original game was called The Landlord's Game. The Landlord's Game. That's what it was called. And there were two rules. One set of rules was the rules we use today. The Monopoly rules. And at the end of that game, everybody always feels the same. There's one person who has all the money and everybody else is mad. That's Monopoly, right? Well, the other set of rules, there was a second set of rules you could play the game by, different rules. Those rules were designed to show you that at the end of that game, everybody wins. Everybody wins. But guess what? Nobody wanted to play the game where everybody wins. People wanted to play the game where only one person wins. So that's why they changed it to the name Monopoly, and they got rid of the other rules. But the entire point of that game was to show you that it's not good. It's not good when one person tries to take it all. That's not good. Yeah, it is similar to our current world. That's exactly right. Yeah. But that's the funny irony of that game, is that if you are good at that game, it means you are good at being a beep hole. That's what you are. You're good at being mean. You're good at being bad. That's what it is. Yeah. So if you love Monopoly because you love to win, you love to be bad. That's what that is. You just asked ChatGPT about what you have read. It called some, and it's not about, huh? I don't understand. What are we talking about? It's not allowed to talk about religion. Was I talking about religion? I mean, I was talking about religion only in the most general sense. I talk about religion and politics, but not in a promotional kind of a way, only in an educational kind of a way. I try to only be educational about it, you know? Okay, let's see. What does the double slit interference experiment tell us? Robert, that's kind of a strange question. Are you trying to test my intelligence, Robert? That sounds like a question like you're asking because you just want to test me. Is that what that is? That happens a lot here. Do you really want me to explain the concept of entanglement? Will I basically just call every rich person a beephole because the game described our world that way? Not everyone, no, but a lot of them, yeah. There is a certain amount of money that is immoral. That's my belief. My belief is that there is a number that's too much. If there is a number that's too little, then why is there not a number that's too much? There should be. Yeah. If I gave you $100,000 every day for 10,000 years, you would have $1 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. All right. You thought this room is English practice. What the hell? I am an English teacher, and I teach here 5 or 6 times a week. Yes. And I teach about grammar and reading and writing and listening and speaking and vocabulary and pronunciation and accent and confidence and many other things. Today is called Ask Teacher Mark. And you can ask me about anything. Some people like to ask me about weird topics because they like to hear my weird answers. Okay? And the beauty of that is that we are practicing English. We're practicing English through conversation. You're asking me, I'm answering. You're hearing my answers. That is learning. Okay? I have almost 83,000 people here who follow me to learn English. Okay? Just because we're talking about AI for a bit doesn't mean I don't teach English. I do. I'm teaching it right now. Okay? All right, Athena, I'm so sorry. I forgot about you. I'm so sorry, Athena.
Thank you. I was going to sleep.
I'm so sorry. I forgot you. I'm so terribly sorry. How are you? Are you okay?
I'm okay.
I'm sorry to hear about your friend.
He wasn't my closest friend. He's my closest friend's friend. So,
Your best friend's friend. Okay.
yeah. So I'm okay. I'm worried about my best friend.
I understand.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. That's a hard thing to go through. I've gone through it a couple of times. It's hard.
Oh, how do you?
There is no answer. You know, everybody experiences grief differently. Everybody needs a different amount of time and a different way to deal with it. And every time it's new and different. And no matter how many times it happens, it still hurts and it's still hard. You know? It's hard. And you know, it's funny because, you know, even if you don't even know somebody, if you see them die, it's hard. It's not. When I was 13 years old, I think I was 13, I was in the Boy Scouts, and it was around Christmas time, and I was at the local church, and we were selling Christmas trees for money for the scouts, right? And we were selling the Christmas trees in the parking lot, and there was this group of teenagers that were skateboarding in the parking lot on the other side of the parking lot. And then one day, or not one day, when we were there, and they came running. One of them came running over there and said, "Help us! Help us! Help us! My brother fell down, and I don't know what's wrong." We all go running over there to look, and there's this boy on the ground, and he's about my age probably, and he had white stuff coming out of his mouth, and he's like choking, and his eyes are rolled up in the back of his head, and it was scary. And my mom actually got down and started giving him CPR and blowing into his mouth and everything, and a helicopter actually had to come and land right there at the school, and they put him in the helicopter and took him away. He died. And I was 13, and it was crazy to see a 13-year-old. I'm seeing another 13-year-old right in front of me. Last minutes of his life. You know, and that was that, and then when my grandmother died too, it was also really hard on me because I really loved her a lot, and it was just crushing. And then, you know, I've had some friends through the years who have died in various ways, either through suicide or from terrible accidents or from drugs and alcohol and other bad things, you know. And it's never easy. You know, my father is a psychologist, and he's retired. And do you know what he does for a hobby now? Sometimes, I shouldn't call it a hobby, but like he likes to volunteer his time. And he volunteers his time at a hospice. Do you know what a hospice is? It's like a hospital, but it's for old people who are very, very close to dying, like weeks or days away. Okay? So it's not really a hospital. They're not going to fix you. They're just going to try to make you comfortable. Because you're dying. You're definitely dying. There's no chance that you're not going to die. You are going to die. And he goes on his free time in the afternoons to sit with people he does not even know who are about to die. That is, like I told him, I said, I don't know how you do that. I have no idea how you have the strength to watch so many people just die right in front of you. And those people, it's so amazing what he does, because those people, they have nobody. There's no family, there's no friends, so they're alone. So he sits with them so that they're not. That's pretty amazing. And it's crazy. I just can't even imagine it. It's just too hard for me. I'm a very emotional person. So death is not hard. It's not easy for me. It's not easy for me to take it. And so I don't know how he has the strength to do something like that. It's so hard. I think that must be one of the hardest things to do in the world. You know? Yeah. Very, very difficult. But it makes you think. You know, it makes you appreciate things. It makes you think. It makes you consider things more. You know, yeah. So, Athena, oops, sorry. Let me give you a hug.
I think my best friend need that hug.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Okay. Well,
I'm just worried about and your dad is so don't know how to express it in English.
yeah, I don't know how to express it either, to be honest. You know, it's superhuman.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how you have that kind of strength. But doctors do it all the time too. Doctors see people die every day, and that's so hard. You know, especially when you tried your best to save them and then they die anyway. Wow, that's some heavy guilt to carry around. You know, you do your best, but you still lose some people. You know, and when my father was a psychologist, when he was working over the years, there was a few times when he had patient who would commit suicide. There was a few times I can remember when he would get a call at 3 in the morning. It's like nighttime, and he'd have to wake up and be on the phone with somebody and talk to them and try to save them and help them. And then he wake up in the morning and find out that they still did it. You know?
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Oh my.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, as a boy, I had to see that. I had to, the phone calls would come in and I didn't have to stay up. Sure. It was my dad had to stay up and talk to him. But I would wake up because I would hear them answering the call, and I could hear my dad had to wake up and put his slippers on and go downstairs and try to talk to somebody, Yeah. He's stronger than I don't know how to explain his strength. I don't. I have no idea how to be that strong emotionally. He's stronger than I've ever seen emotionally. Yeah. Because that stuff affects me a lot. I'm emotional. So, it's being an artist. You have to be. You have to be very in touch with your emotions if you want to be an artist. Because you have to be able to express the things that are both beautiful and ugly. You have to be...
Maybe I should be an artist.
Everyone should be. Everyone is. You can. Athena, that's why art is so beautiful, because art does give you the ability to express feelings that you can't express with words. So you can draw something and it makes you feel better. You can write something and it makes you feel better. You can dance and it makes you feel better. You can sing and it makes you feel better. Art that's the purpose of art, is to help us express ourselves in ways that words can't do. There are no words that describe a beautiful picture well enough. There are no words that describe a beautiful song well enough. You can call it beautiful, but it doesn't describe the feelings it really gives you. So.
Yeah.
So, you should write something. You should try to do something artistic. Let art help you get your emotions out. That's what it does. Okay? And art is not something restricted to anyone. It's for everyone. That's the beauty of art. It's completely inclusionary. There is nobody excluded in art. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And you lost weight, right?
I don't know. I haven't weighed myself. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I still feel fat. I still have my American gut. I think I still need to lose at least 10 pounds, maybe 15.
I'm really fat now. And
it gets hard. It gets hard. The older you get, the harder it gets. But I don't feel too bad. I'll feel better if I can lose another 10, another 15. I'll feel great if I can do that. But it's hard. I thought I was going to lose it by now, but this year is the first year I haven't been able to lose my winter weight easily. I always gain weight in the winter because I love to eat during the winter.
Yeah.
But then I usually lose it by early summer. I can usually lose most of it, but this year not so much.
But recently I see you cuter. Recently.
I'm cuter. Oh well, I took my cute pills. I've been taking my cute medicine. I have cute medicine. I take it every day. It helps me stay cute.
You're funny. And about what you talk about Elon Musk. I think I want to argue. But you think he's not moral, and maybe I agree with you. Maybe he care about human, but not care about the individual. And
I don't even think he cares about humans.
That's not what I want to say. I want to say that actually, it's not very important. A person's how to say their moral level is not that important. What is important is what he can do for the society, and like there's a. I know you want to say. I know you can say a lot, but let me say first.
Go ahead.
And there's there was a famous person in history in China. His Chinese history named Cao Cao. Cao Cao.
Okay.
He was from the Three Kingdom era. Three Kingdom era. Yeah, and he ruled the country, and he thinks the moral standards weren't that important, and what he value is the capability of those officials, the government officials, and what the person can do for the country, for the improvement of the society, and by thinking in that way and do things in that way, he really make the time, the country better, much better. And so especially in certain system like American system, there's so many laws, and they will make sure people won't harm the country so much. And so, and I know what you feel, but there's balance. I believe in that. That's
well, let me give you another perspective. Because you were talking about some Chinese guy that I'm not familiar with, who his idea was that it's not important whether you're moral or immoral. It's important if you have the potential to be able to do good things for your society, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but that's kind of a flawed idea, because it does matter if you're immoral or if you're moral, because if you have the power to help your society, you also have the power to hurt your society.
Yeah, but I said that there in certain political system, like your country, there is balance, and there's
Unfortunately, that I wish that were true, but the thing that we have learned in America more than any other thing in the last 30 years, we have learned that for sure, definitely there are two kinds of laws here. There are laws for people like me, and then there are the rich people laws. And the rich people don't go to jail. The richest people don't go to jail. They have money to fight. They have money to pay politicians. They have money to work the system in any way that they want. But let me tell you about two other people in history. Machiavelli. Do you know who Machiavelli is? I don't know the Chinese name. Let me see if I can find it. Machiavelli. There it is. Just Machiavelli.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he is a guy from Florence from the 1500s. And why is he famous? He's famous because he wrote a bunch of books about how to rule. And his idea was basically like, whatever you need to do to rule, do it.
Yeah, I know that.
That's one thing. And then there's another guy. There's another really important guy. These two people are very important to modern politics. Machiavelli, and there's another one, Nietzsche. Nietzsche was a German philosopher. And Nietzsche, he believed that morals were put in place to keep the really great people from being really great. So he said morals were basically created by society to try to keep people from taking advantage of society. By creating a system of good and bad, that means that some people will say, well, I don't want to do bad things because they're bad. But there are some people who look at that same idea and they say, well, all of these other people, they're not willing to do anything bad. That means that's a huge opportunity for anybody who is. Right? And so, in modern politics right now, there is a lot of what we call Machiavellian Nietzschean theory, which is anything that gets the job done, gets the job done. And morals, that's for the low people. The rich people don't care about morals. They only care about power.
I sent the wrong text. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah, Nietzsche. Have a nice Nietzsche. Have a Nietzsche day. So, anyway, Athena.
Yeah.
So, let me just say that I wish I could believe that he had good intentions, but what I believe is that he is smart, but I believe that he is manipulative, very manipulative. And so many people say, but he's doing so many good things for people and humanity. I think that he's chosen those projects for public relations, not because he really wants to help people, but actually, here's the reason why. When you choose projects that are humanity projects, like let's cure cancer, or let's go to the moon or the Mars, those projects have unlimited budgets. That's how smart he is. He realized that when I choose to do things that are grand, huge projects, I'll get money from governments. I'll get lots of money. And then it makes him look good because people think he's doing these big projects for humanity. But it's really because he's smart enough to realize that those projects are the projects that have no budget. They're unlimited money. It's a constant source of money. So, and now he's been doing multiple ones. So he's brilliant at manipulating people into believing he's good. I don't believe he's good. Not at all.
My point of view is not about he's good or not.
Whether he can benefit us or not. And he has. In some ways, he has. But my question would be, in 50 years, are we going to look back and find out that he also damaged us in many ways that we just didn't know? So are we going to find out that his Starlink satellites, that he's been manipulating them all over the world for different governments, for different reasons, for different purposes, not in a good way, that we just didn't know about? Are we going to find out that he did all these other things later that we just didn't know about that weren't good for us? I think that's likely. Do you know why I think that's likely? Because that's the way it's always happened. Every rich person in history, we always find out later that they weren't as good as we thought they were. Rockefeller, not as good as we thought he was. Vanderbilt, not as good as we thought they were. All the greatest rich families, they had bad stuff in their past. Lots of them. So, maybe he will help us.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, but still, yeah.
But maybe he could help us a lot more. So, you know, Athena, let me put it to you this way. If I come, if your house is on fire, and I come with a bucket, and I throw some water on it, and I say, oh, I'm helping, but I have a fire truck. I have a fire truck, and I have all the equipment. I could put out your fire now. I could do it right now. But look, I'm helping. I have a bucket. I'm helping. That's what is happening right now. You see him doing what you think is helping, but he could do a lot more because he has more power than any one person on the planet. So honestly, when I see him, I think he's smart, but I also think he's really dumb. Because if he was really smart, there are a million projects he could do that would have far more value to humanity. He says he wants to help humanity, but if that's true, then there are so many more projects he could do that would have instant beneficial help.
He's not Superman.
No, he's not. And nobody is. But I'm not asking him to be Superman. I am asking him to be a man. And I don't think he's doing that. And the reason why is because he's not being honest. You can't be a man if you're not honest.
Are we asking too much from one person? And
No, since you talked about Superman, the movie Superman has a quote in it. Spider-Man. Spider-Man has a quote in it. With great power comes great responsibility. So when you are the richest guy in the world, yeah, that comes with a huge, huge, huge responsibility to all of us. Yes, when you make yourself as rich as a god, then you are expected to act like one. And I don't think that's unfair, because you have all the benefits of a god when you have that much money. Do you know what we call that kind of money in America? When you have that much money, we call that FU money. Because that means that you don't have to say anything to anybody anymore. You don't have to argue with anybody. You can tell anybody to do anything you want, because you have so much money that they cannot stop you. They can't stop you. So that's called FU money.
I think the government, like Trump, what Trump wants to do is to stop.
So I can't get into any specifics with Trump or whatever, because that starts getting into too much politics. But I will just say that that the richest people in this world, there are 3,000 people in this world who have $1 billion or more. Those 3,000 people have a much greater responsibility to help much more than they are. They are selfish, they are spoiled, they are not good. All of them. It is not possible, in my opinion, as a human, it's not possible to get $1 billion morally.
Yeah, but still, we can't ask them to do what to do all the.
I'm not asking him to do everything. No, I'm not asking him to do everything, Athena. I'm not asking him to do anything that I wouldn't ask myself to do. So yes, I'm saying that if I were in his position, I think that I could come up with some better things to do with my money. If I were in his position, I know I would need to shut my mouth more. Those are two things, those two people that you mentioned, they both have one big thing in common. They don't know when to shut up.
But maybe if we were in that position, then maybe we will be spoiled and be forgot and think
you will. That's
to follow rules. Yeah.
That's right. Yes, but does that excuse them? So because they got so much money and it made them immoral, so that's an excuse? The fact that they have so much pressure on them that it was the pressure they agreed to. When you decide to become rich, that's an agreement. I want this pressure. When you take on that much money, that's an agreement. You're saying, I want this much pressure. So there's no feeling sorry for the richest man in the world. No, I don't feel sorry for him at all. He has every possible benefit that he could have that can be bought, he has. But that's the thing. Do you know what they say about being rich? A rich man can be the poorest man, which is the case with these two. They have lots of riches, but they are not rich because they don't have a rich character. They have a poor character. Both of them have tremendously poor character. There has never been two individuals in the history of mankind who have had so much and yet so little.
Talented people, they have some like Albert Einstein. He had some flaws that I didn't know before.
Sure.
And I watched the show. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody does. I'm not trying to say that you can't. I'm not trying to say you have to be perfect. I'm not trying to say you can't have flaws. I am trying to say that, do you know the difference is, I don't think Einstein would try to argue about his flaws. I think if you confronted Einstein and you said, hey, you did this thing and it wasn't really good, he'd probably say, yeah. Right? And he had lots of regrets about his part of what he did that created what happened, the nuclear bombs, right? He had lots of regrets about that, right?
No,
So,
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about his personal.
his personal life with cheating on his wife and things like that and whatever, right? Or with dating his cousin or something, right? Yeah, he did some stuff that's kind of, a little bit weird, right? But the difference is, I'm pretty sure he'd own up to it. He'd admit it. Okay? Now, I don't know that because he's not around. Okay? But there are a couple of other people who never admit when they are wrong. Ever! They never say they're wrong. They never say, I made a mistake. It's they branded themselves on their perfection, and they have to keep that attitude, like I'm perfect. But they're not, because they are human. They are flawed, like you said. They're flawed. Everybody is, including me. I have lots of flaws.
Do you know Hitler, the evil guy?
Mm-hmm.
His personal life is much better than the other two big guys.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's debatable. He had a lot of problems too. He had a lot of problems too. The things that happened to him in World War I affected him a lot. There were some, he had some mental health issues too. He wasn't entirely sane. So everybody's flawed, Athena, but not everybody is aware that they're flawed. And not everybody is trying their best to improve upon themselves. And the only way you can improve upon yourself is if you admit that you have a problem. You can't fix it if you don't know it's broken, right? And so, but again, one of the things is when you get to be powerful, you can't admit you have problems. That's weakness. Right? So powerful people rarely will admit that they have weaknesses. That's not what they do. But that's what they should do. That's what they should do. They should show that they have weaknesses. They should show that they have humanity. And again, there are some billionaires who do great things. Like I just read an article not too long ago about somebody who bought, I can't remember who it was, a Swiss guy, I think. It was a Swiss guy, billionaire, who spent all of his money to buy the rainforest. He bought a whole bunch of land in the rainforest in the Amazon to protect it so that it will never be touched again. That's great. Wow. That's great. That's beautiful. Another woman in America, she donated all her money to a university so that no medical students ever have to pay for their tuition ever again. They can go to study to be a doctor and don't have to pay a dime. That is amazing. Okay? But guess what? Most of the time when you see the generosity of a billionaire, it's not generosity. It's called a tax write-off. So if they donate money, then they have to pay less taxes by that much. So if you have $8 billion, but you give away $1 billion, everybody says, wow, he's so generous. He gave away $1 billion. But he did it because if he didn't give it away, he would have to pay it anyway for tax. So now he gives it away, and now everybody thinks he's a really nice guy, but he's really doing it because of business, not because of generosity. Now, it's possible it could be both. Sometimes maybe there's both. Maybe they really do want to do something nice, and it's a tax write-off. But business is never moral. Business is not about morality. It's never been about morality. Business has always been only about business. It's only about making money and profit and making more and profit and making more and profit. It's never about morality. It's never about ethics. It's never about making the world a better place. You know, it's just about profit and money. That's business. That's what they even say. When we do bad things in America, sometimes when you do bad things, you know what they say? It's just business, man. That's what we say.
No, business did make the world better, and
It
they
did. You're right. It did. But guess what? We also don't work in the fields and the farms anymore that much, right? We used to, right? 1,000 years ago, everybody worked on a farm and everybody worked in the fields and everybody had these jobs in, you know, rural jobs. But we don't do that anymore. Why? Because we don't need to. So we are transitioning again. We are changing. We're transitioning where we used to have a work economy. And you're right. For the time period of man, during that time period, that was needed and important and beneficial. But we're now reaching a point where we're transitioning into, do we need that work anymore? And more importantly, are we exploiting people? Maybe it's better if they don't work. Maybe it's better if they have other things to do, like making themselves a better person. You know, just think about it. Right now, there is somebody working in a factory making shoes or whatever. And they have an amazing talent that's only theirs. But you will never see it. You'll never see it because they have to spend all their time in a factory working all the time. The Einstein, there could be 10 Einsteins right now, but they're all busy at their jobs.
I think you already persuaded me, and
I'm so tired. It's late, and I've made you too tired. That's what you can say, Athena. You can just say, "You talk too much, Mark."
No. I agree with you now, and I think it's really essential. It's really important to keep eye on those powerful people in our own society.
That's exactly right. It is. Yeah, because that's just the way it is. You can have as much as you want, but when you do, you have a responsibility to the rest of us. You have a responsibility. We all live here. We all have to try to do our best.
And also you're right. I'm a little sleepy. My brain is lack oxygen now. I need.
Yeah, it's okay. I understand. It's always good to see you, Athena. It's a pleasure, and I appreciate the pushback. I like pushback. You know, I don't agree, but I like pushback. You know, and it's good for you to see why do I feel like I feel, because I think sometimes people think he just is jealous. He doesn't like rich people because he's jealous.
Yeah, it's good
okay,
to hear.
you know, maybe I am a little bit, but really most of it is not about jealousy. It's about like, wow, really? Are you have that much potential and that much power and that much capability, but that's all you could do is that? I feel like you could take $1 billion and you could go to an elementary school and find a classroom of children and you could ask them, how would you fix the world tomorrow? And that classroom would come up with 20 great ideas that you could use that $1 billion for. That would be amazing. That's my point, is that there's so many ideas that could be good. I just don't know why we're not doing them. Get some rest, get some sleep, come back and see me again.
I really enjoy the process the way
Debate.
how you persuade me. I got deeper thoughts because what you talk about. Yeah. Thank you
That's
so much.
what teaching is supposed to be. You know, I'm not trying to change your mind. I am trying to help you see another way, another side. I'm not trying to change anybody's mind. I'm just trying to help you see another perspective. That's all. Okay.
Yeah.
Get some rest. I'll see you next time, okay, Athena?
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
All right. Look, and again, like, listen, guys. I'm no genius. I am no genius. I have lots and lots of problems and flaws myself. Okay? Lots of them. I do not claim to be perfect. I do claim that I do work on them. I do claim that the problems and flaws that I have, I'm pretty aware of them. And I am working on them every day. Because when you're poor, character is how you become rich. And no matter how rich you are, you can never buy character. Okay? So when you're poor, character. That's how you become rich. But no matter how rich you are, you can never buy character. All right? There are many people who never admit problems. That's right. Never apologize. That's right. Yeah. Okay, guys, I need to go. It's been 2.5 hours. Wow. Long day today. Wow. We've been here for 2 hours and 38 minutes. Whew, long time. But it was fun. It was fun. You know, we talked about all kinds of things today. Right? That's kind of what I do when I do this stream. Ask Teacher Mark. You can ask me whatever. Okay? Arman, I can give you some good advice about that. My good advice is you should go to my YouTube channel and you should follow my YouTube channel and start watching my videos. Okay? I am one of the top teachers on Hello Talk. That's not a bragging, that's just, those are the numbers. Okay? And I'm here 5 or 6 times a week. All right? And 83,000 people follow me. Okay? You know, it's always funny when I have to say these numbers because I never want to say them like I'm bragging. Because honestly, the numbers surprise me. I'm glad people follow me, but I don't really understand it entirely. I'm glad, but I also don't understand it, you know. These are just my ideas. And I don't claim that they're good for everyone. If you like my ideas, great. That's it. I'm happy, you know. But tomorrow, if I have 1 million followers or I have 5 followers, it really doesn't make a difference. It's still what I believe. So, anyway. Okay, people follow quality. I hope so, but I don't know. Some people follow quantity. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, I gotta go, but I will talk to you guys next time, okay? Have a good morning, have a good evening, have a good afternoon, wherever you live in the world, and come back and see me again next time. Don't forget to go to my website and follow, check out my blog, check out my podcast, check out my YouTube channel, okay? And I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye. It was great to talk to you, Athena. Take care. Bye-bye.